Hey DDox2424. Hey LT Gamer. How's it going? Oh, I need to turn on my audio. Happy birthday, Pancake. Happy birthday. So the only time you can really get matches in the PS4 version is on the weekends in the morning. So I'm here now. Hey Hiropi.
It's my turn.
Oh, Akechi. That mass murderer. Happy birthday, I guess. Wow, the voice audio is so low. Oh. Oops, I meant to put the blues there. Wow, that was fatal. Oh.
See you next time.
Hmm.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
All right, here we go. Can I get an 8?
4, 5, 6, 7. Take that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Star Ring. I'm no match. Victory!
How do you pronounce Allie's name anyways? I think it's pronounced Allie. So how's it going for everyone? Have you been training? I've been pretty busy working on my simulator, and I think it's in a good spot now. You can share your chains and edit the colors and put numbers on there to take notes. Oh, what? No! PS4 version always does this. How's Carby doing today? Great. He told me that my life would be full of suffering. And, you know, I think that's very motivational. Because suffering makes you stronger. Maybe. Maybe. What else do I play on PS4?
Good.
I've been trying to finish Sekiro, but it's just been like really grindy.
Are you prepared?
It's just like, dang, I messed up once in that fight, gotta do it all over again. Just kidding, you're allowed to die twice.
1, 2. How dare you?
It's still pretty frustrating though.
1.
Like, I think, so on your second playthrough of the game,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exploding me. 1,
well, this is bad.
2.
So anyways, on your second playthrough of Sekiro, like, it increases the difficulty, but it increases it in a really stupid way.
Did you enjoy
So I
my
think the
technique?
enemies got more super armory, and in an action game, super armor is the worst. Just never do it. I don't know why game designers think it's okay. It's like the worst mechanic you could ever put in a game.
1,
I see that. That's gonna be...
2, 2. Punch. Thrashing time. 1.
but my chaining potential isn't going to be better than theirs. I have to at least force them to do something.
How dare you? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exploding me.
Oh, I messed up! I meant to put the purple there! Oh, no.
2. No. Someone owes me an apology. Did you enjoy
I forgot.
my technique?
I spaced out for a second at a critical moment. Do I ever stream non-Puyo games? I mean, I could, but no one watches my non-Puyo stuff, really. Puyo's the only thing I'm ever good at. But yeah, I'm a pretty big action game fan when I'm not playing Puyo. So I play like Devil May Cry, Bayonetta, Nier. That was pretty fun, the latest one. Although it was kind of button mashy. But basically, super armor, where like the enemies don't flinch at all. Like, if that's gonna happen, you should at least have like a huge visual cue that teaches you that the enemy won't flinch if you hit it at that point. But most games don't have that, and it's the worst. It's just really miserable attacking the enemy and they don't flinch and they just hit you back and you can't do anything about it. All that does is force you to play really campy, and that's really miserable.
Are you prepared?
Astral Chain? Yo! Astral Chain looks really cool. I'm gonna get it for sure. Are they ready to fight back against this?
2. Thrashing time. 1.
Oh, they are!
1. 3. 2. Defensive formation. 1.
Wow.
3. 4.
They converted that 4 chain so fast.
Someone owes me an apology.
I didn't see them see that possibility in that direction. There's so much more I need to learn. Wait. Oh, what? How?
No! Someone owes me an apology. A job well done.
It doesn't look like they're using. They're really good. I have Cuphead on my brother's Xbox One, but I haven't finished it. Oh, I got Kingdom Hearts 3, and dang, that game was miserable on critical level 1. It was the worst.
It's potion time.
I heard it's still kind of miserable on the update too, with critical mode. Wait, no, I played on Proud mode level 1 when it came out, and that sucked. And now this critical mode level 1, but I'm not sure if I want to try that. Because that game was full of super armory enemies, and I'm not sure if they fixed that or not, but if they didn't, it's still going to be miserable. And I don't want to waste my time. No!
1, 2, 3. Return fire! 5, 6, 7, 8. 1. Supernova!
This is bad.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Return fire! Supernova!
Oh gosh. Wait, I could have countered that if I had gone faster. I shouldn't have hesitated.
That all you got?
I think I had a 7 chain for that. Oh, Shibakazu! Hello! Thank you! I'm gonna try my best for sure. Thank you for your support.
1,
Did I close it off?
1,
Oh, they go high. So this is just gonna fall all around.
1. 1, 1, 1. 1, 2. 1,
I see that.
1, 1, 2, 2.
Will they all chain me now?
4, 5, 6, 7.
Shibakazu, thank you. Everyone here really respects you since you can chain so well. We all want to be like you one day.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Oh, this is bad.
Return fire! Supernova!
No, I needed my yellow!
Stop that! Stop that! What happened? That all you got?
Ugh, come on. You did your first 6 chain yesterday. That's good.
Potion time!
I want you.
Mm. Uh-oh. What?
Curses. 1, 2. Dark magic.
1, 2.
1, 2. Dark magic.
Stop that!
Wow, I survived?
What happened?
Victory is mine.
Am I good at bullet hell games? I mean, I played them a little bit when I was a kid. I want to say I'm really good at it. I think I think my eyesight's good enough to adapt and become mediocre quickly, but I can't say that I can be good at it.
1,
Oh?
2. Meteor shower! 1,
2.
Oh.
2.
I shouldn't have tried to fight that. They had a follow-up.
1, 2.
You're just playing really aggressively.
Meteor shower!
1,
Okay, the next round I'm just gonna go for
1,
5 chain.
2. Meteor shower!
I finished.
That all you got?
Let them overcommit. Or not? You're chaining normally now. Hmm?
2. Dark magic.
1, 2, 3. Return fire! 5, 6,
Come on.
7, 8, 9.
1, 2,
Supernova!
3,
Please be enough.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Here we go.
Stop that! What happened?
Victory is mine.
Intermediate chain reactor. Oh, thank you. Shiba Kazu, yeah, you made it 18. Everyone's seen that. It's so cool. No, stop! How do you not waste Puyos? I think I'm still pretty wasteful, so I don't know how to answer that. I think if you learn more chaining forms, you know how to like put your pieces to contribute to something in advance.
Be starting soon.
My name is CL.
How are you also good at Puyo? Well, Puyo Puyo is a game that's forever. People play it for a long time. So it's only natural that people are really good at it. This is bad.
1,
Wait, they can't complete that very quickly.
1,
2, 3. Sire.
I got you.
1,
1,
2,
2,
3.
3,
Mephisto!
4, 5. Lapis lazuli.
But my calculations... This doesn't add up.
1.
Oh. Let's cover that blue now.
2.
1. Stop!
Oh. Wait, they dug it.
1, 2,
Oh boy.
Oh wait, what?
1,
I was too focused on trying to get back up.
1, 2,
stop.
1,
1, 2,
Oh no!
move. 1, 2,
1, 2, 3,
1,
4, 5,
Well,
6, 7.
1.
Le manteau de l'ange.
Acid wash.
that was so awful.
Wait, what?
All according to calculations.
I think what I like about Puyo is that it's been very carefully balanced to last for 3 decades. A lot of other puzzle games, they've been like pseudo solved where like it really degenerates to like speed becoming the most important thing.
1, 2.
Oh no.
I see now.
But
1,
Puyo has definitely been able to
3, sapphire.
stay true to itself.
6, lapis lazuli.
But my
People haven't been able
calculations-
to just find like one single strategy that always wins. People are still growing. I feel like I got lucky that round. They almost had their counter ready. Oh, I want to see Shibakaze versus Shiro. Cheese It Up says, S2, there is a single simple strategy that always wins though. I think it's called Frog Stat. Where's the ban button? Just kidding. I mean, I feel like... How do I word this correctly? So I think one of Puyo Puyo's biggest struggles right now is just that most people in the West, their frame of reference for how puzzle games are supposed to work are like all the low-key busted puzzle games. Like we all know Tetris has its own jank that people like fail to notice. But even things like Panel de Pawn 2. It's kind of weird because like, if you've seen high level matches, it starts to become like, it punishes you for chaining too much because then you don't have enough resources to do like the whole survival game forever. So that's also like pretty jank. The game shouldn't discourage you from doing chains like that. And it also gets kind of luck based on who survives. I feel like
Be starting soon.
puzzle game designers should look to Puyo
Let the
and learn from it.
experiment begin.
In Puyo Puyo, everything takes time, and there's a risk and reward for everything you can try to do.
1, 2,
1, 2,
Oh,
sapphire.
not good. 1,
how about this?
2, tenderness.
1, 2, oof.
Oh, that gets them pretty good, right? Let's do a follow-up.
2,
Uh-oh.
1,
tenderness.
2, 3, sapphire. 5, lapis lazuli.
1, 2,
I think I got them.
4, 5. That solves that. Hazard.
1, 2,
1,
3, side. Oh boy. Oh boy. Wait, what?
A resounding success!
One, two, acid wash.
No! I needed one more space. I was like, maybe I could eat that.
My one.
One, two,
Oof. One, two.
not good.
Ah,
One,
yeah, I have a long chain ready already, so maybe they won't be able to be ready for this.
One, two, three.
Oh, they lost a lot of time doing that.
7, 8, 9. Devotion!
Oh boy. Wait, what?
A resounding success!
Klug? I love Klug. What did they translate Strange Klug to in here? Oh, Possessed Klug. I think Strange Klug is still like a more entertaining translation of the name. Mainly because I think in Puyo Puyo Fever 2, the whole joke was that even though Klug got possessed and looked super different and cool, no one cared because everyone in that game is just their own kind of like weirdness. So they didn't even care that Klug was possessed. They thought he was just being a little strange.
It's potion time!
So be it.
Like, I think in Rafina's story, she's like, oh, you're an ancient demon of ultimate power? Whatever. I need your artifact so I can do some makeup or something. She just like didn't care.
One, two. One.
Okay, this is gonna be dangerous for me.
Ow!
Oh gosh, I messed up.
One, two,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Ascension, you will never beat me.
one,
Hmm.
one. One, two,
They're really far behind. Once I punish them with this, I'll set off my chain. Okay, They probably can't catch up to this.
3, 4, 5.
Oh, actually, wow, they dug really well.
4, 5. Star, stop that!
Amazing.
1, 2, 3. Calamity!
I still have the advantage though because
2,
the time they spent trying to do that gave me a lot of time to just build without retaliation or consequence.
You will never beat me.
Oh yeah, the Smash announcer is Satan. Where can you get your own Carbuncle plush? I haven't been able to find like online stores that would import it, that you can easily import it from. I think you just need to go through like a proxy service from someone in Japan who'll buy it for you and then ship it to you. It'll be really expensive. But yeah, these aren't available
my name is Ciel.
outside of Japan. The Carbuncle plushes. Oh, well, okay. Do you guys remember that Sega poll on Twitter the other day? Well, I was thinking, and I realized that Jet Set Radio and Super Monkey Ball were the other two options. And I realized, aren't those two games like kind of dead in comparison to Puyo?
2, 1, 3.
In terms of like news, like actual games coming out. So wasn't that whole poll just a shoe-in for Puyo? So maybe we really will get some new Puyo merch.
You never stood a chance.
Like, I don't think there's been Jet Set Radio. It's been ages since the last game, right? And then Super Monkey Ball, I think the last game came out in what, 2012? Can I try blocking that transition?
1, 2, 1, 1.
Keep the pressure up.
1,
Oh, wait, this blocks them hard. Okay,
1,
no escaping from this.
1. Dragon tail! But my calculations. This doesn't add up. Sorry. You never stood a chance.
Well, if it makes you guys feel any better, I think my Carbuncle plush tweet had the most likes of all the replies to that poll. So
Be starting soon.
yeah, I bet they noticed. I need to start fighting.
1, 2,
Oh, bad choice. Cover you up more.
1, 2.
Got you.
No match.
I won.
Oh,
Oof.
okay, I can live through that.
1, 2. Emission.
1,
Here we go.
2, 3, 7, 5, 6, 6. Lapis Lazuli.
I'm no match.
My 1.
See you later, Evie. Hey, Sean. Hey, Rare. No! I think it's so funny how 6 has Sapphire too. Yo, I would be totally okay if Shaz was the next Fire Emblem rap. I love sword characters. I don't. I hate them. Hmm. $128 likes on the plush. Okay.
My name is CL.
I think we can do it, guys. I think we can get Puyo Puyo merch. Like, Sega did release stuff on the Sega shop that was like some really generic t-shirts. I know they could do better than that, right? Okay, stop him here.
2. Go. Go.
Wait, that... Oh boy.
1, 2, 3. All within projections. 5, 6, 7, 8. All according to calculations.
Okay, let's try something new. This isn't going so well. Uh-oh.
1, 2, 3. All within projections.
Uh-oh. Phew, just in time.
2, 3, 4, 5. All within projections. 7. Le manteau de l'ange.
Honestly, the big two merchandise that I want are...
All according to calculations.
I bought a red Puyo hat off of Etsy. Oh, I can't wear it over my headphones. But it would be great if Sega could release an official one.
My name is CL. Let's go!
Oh, I missed the all clear. I'm so bad.
I see now.
Thanks for waiting. Oh no. Oh gosh. Please just destroy me already. End my misery. Destroy me!
Stop. One, two, three, four, five. Le manteau de l'ange. 2, 3, 4, 5. Fairy fire. 1, 2,
Oh,
3.
wasn't enough.
Me faire servir. Oh no! All according to calculations.
This is awful. Gotta.
1,
No, they saw!
3, 4, 5,
I totally messed that up.
7. Le manteau de l'ange.
Actually, if I got 2 more pieces, I could have set that off.
All according
Darn.
to calculations.
That was a terrible mistake. Okay, I can win this time.
My name is CL. Stop. 1, 2,
Block that a little bit.
2. 1. 1, 2.
Uh-oh.
I see now. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All within projections. 5,
Uh-oh. How do I...
7, 8. Bouclier de l'ange.
Darn. These are like really awful extensions.
Square one. All according to calculations.
I'm trying to do things I like don't really have experience doing, but you know, there's only one way to learn.
One, 2.
Does that get them?
1, 2.
Uh-oh.
I see now.
Darn it, I have to set this off. But maybe they're gonna have a hard time filling those gaps in order to extend their chain.
5, 6. Algorithms.
Oh? They did.
My calculations. This doesn't add up. I'm at 100%. One,
Hmm. Oh no.
1, 2. Stop. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I don't know if this really works how I think it will, but...
4. Le manteau de l'ange. 6, 7. Right back at ya.
What? It worked?
My calculations. This doesn't add up. 100%.
Anyways, it's hot in Georgia, so I can't keep wearing this hat. Alright, who's my next opponent? I think I'll do one more. I know it's been a short stream today, but I have some family in town again. Oh, it's a super strong person from earlier.
Ever at your service.
Have to win this.
Let's go.
Won't lose.
One, two,
Built around that.
one. One, two.
Oh,
Blade of Kings. Two. One, two.
they don't have yellows to set that off. Okay, here we go, right now.
Two. Kings.
Oh wait, no, their chain's so long.
One, two, three, four, five. Outrage. One,
Come on, we have to do this.
impossible.
Oh, they built around that.
One. One, two, one, three, two. Behold my power. I won't lose.
I won't lose.
Retreat. One. One. Two. Thanks for waiting. Impossible.
I got them! Yes! I won! Okay, that's a great way to end the stream. Alrighty, well, thanks for hanging out. That was fun. Okay, I think I'll be streaming again Tuesday night, probably. It's just I haven't gotten a chance to play Puyo the entire week last week. So, here is my chance today. Then it's back to work. Life is really busy. Alright, well, hope you guys can all have some time to train. Get strong at Puyo Puyo for me. See you all later! Carbuncle says bye. Bye! Oh, hey, Yellow Puyo. Oh, it's time to go though. See you next time, maybe?